We have a travel day in baseball, so you know what that means. We've got a full slate of games going on all day. I've got a few best bets in the MLB for you today, and also an NBA player pop parlay. This is the free three. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living's back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together, as we just try to make some money. Well, we ended off the very rough month of April, just the way the month of April has been going for us. 2-2 on the day, but I'm so happy to get past that month. So this way we can move on to a fresh month, fresh slate. We're starting clean. Hopefully we can start building some momentum and we can get back to our winning ways here. Yesterday we went 2-2 on the day. We cashed on the Phillies money line. I mean, that was a sweat. Like, they came back in the 8th, 9th inning for us to cash that one, so we needed that. Also, Miles McBride, 3-pointers. No sweat bet there. We got that one done. We did lose on the Twins and Pacers money line parlay, as the Pacers ended up selling, getting crushed by the Bucks in that matchup. And then Franz Wagner decided he didn't want to score yesterday. I mean, he put up the shot attempts. You can't be too mad at it. He just shot a dismal of like 4-14, something terrible. Only finished with 14 points there. We need him to get 18. Mitchell did get his points, but obviously because we parlayed them, they lost. So 2-2 on the day there for us on yesterday's slate. You can see our year-to-date record right here. We finished off the month of April 38-44 here on the channel. Our first losing month of the year, and since we've been doing the show, that's only about 46% hit rate for the month of April, but that is okay because we're going to rebound in the month of March. Stick with us, my friends, as I promise you, we're going to start building some momentum into the month of May. And if you can, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel as we continue to run it up, as we got a whole lot of NBA playoffs ahead of us and also a lot of baseball action that's coming our way this spring. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. Now let's dive into the best bets for today. So for today, this is going to be a very heavily baseball show. I'm not going to lie. I had not really been handicapping the Celtics Heat series. It's just really hard for me to handicap that series. Let's be honest. The games have been blowouts. The games have been 20-point victories, 20-point losses. If I had to take a lean in that game, I would lean the Heat plus the 14, 15 points. But it's hard to say you could take that because you never know what type of Heat team you're going to get. Also, with them being on the road in a closeout game, you never know what type of Celtics team you're going to get either. And then with the player props on blowouts, it's just a little bit tough. So if it's really hard for me to just kind of handicap that series, I'm really looking forward to the next round so I can dive into that Celtics series a little bit more. And like I said, I will have a player prop in the Clippers and Mavs matchup for you guys. That will be the last best bet of the day. So guys, stick with me for these baseball winners real quickly, and then let's dive into that NBA game. So for today, it is a travel day in baseball, so you know that means their games are going to be going on all day long. So the first one is going to be a 4 o'clock first pitch. So hopefully by the time you're watching this video, you still have time to lock in this best bet. And what we're going to do is we're going to go with the Cincinnati Reds here on the first 5 run line. So take that half a run, minus 130 odds. Now, if you want to take the money line on the first 5, be my guest. I'm not opposed to that, as you can get that at plus value. But in this matchup, we have Graham Ashcraft on the mound for the Reds. We got Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres. And this is just really a fade on Joe Musgrove, as the ace has been struggling for the Padres all year. He's 3-3 on the year with a 6.94 ERA, which is not what you're expecting to see. And he's been struggling with giving up the long ball. If you're somebody who likes to take home run player props, well, this might be the game for you to do it. Because in his last game, Joe Musgrove gave up 4 home runs to the Phillies to go with 8 hits, 7 earned runs, and just 3 2/3 innings. That's not going to get it done. In his start before that, 2 home runs to go up with 3 earned runs against the Toronto Blue Jays. So it's just really hard for me to get to the window here with Joe Musgrove, because he's just been struggling with sharp contact. He's given up at least 1 home run in the last 4 straight games, and he's given up at least 3 earned runs in the last 4 games as well. Meanwhile, Graham Ashcraft is going to the mound for the Reds, and he's been in decent form. In his last start, he went 6 1/3 innings against the Texas Rangers. Only 1 mistake pitch, which was a home run, to go with 7 hits, but that's pretty solid to go with 3 strikeouts against a very strong Rangers team, and that was on the road as well. If you also look at his other previous start on the road against the White Sox, he was able to go 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, only 1 earned run given up in that matchup. And then before that, he traveled to the Philadelphia Phillies, 2 earned runs, which went with 2 home runs and 4 hits over 6 innings. So it's not the best of numbers for Graham Ashcraft, who has a 4.4 ERA, but this is just, for me, a fade on Joe Musgrove, who's just really been struggling with his control. He's given up a lot of sharp contact. He's walked at least 2 batters in 5 of the last 6 starts, and that's not going to get it done against a Reds team that's ranked top 10 in major leagues right now in walks per game. And I think that the Reds have the ability to jump out for a quick lead here. So I'm just going to isolate this to the first 5. If we get a tie, then we still cash in. So that's why I'm taking the run line over the money line. So give me the first 5 here on the run line for the Reds as our first best bet of the day. Keep in mind that it's an early 4-10 start there. My second best bet of the day, let's head over to some of the later games in the slate here. And the first one I'm going to take a look at is the Chicago Cubs as they travel to the New York Mets. And I'm going to take the Chicago Cubs here on the money line, minus 120 odds. Now, the Cubs are setting to the mound their ace, Mr. Shota Imanaga, and this dude has been absolutely amazing for the Cubs this year. In 5 starts for the Cubs have not lost any of the games that he started. And he's faced the Dodgers, he's faced the Mariners, he's faced the Red Sox. So it's not like he's just facing slouches teams. He's facing good competition, and he's only given up 3 earned runs combined over the last 2 starts, and that's really just because of 2 mistake pitches that were ended up getting hit out of the park. So right now, 4-0 in the year for Imanaga, 0.98 ERA to go with 28 strikeouts. It's very hard for me to go against that. And even though the Mets are sending Jose Butto to the mound, and we actually took Butto and the Mets in the last start against the Cardinals, he actually lost that game for us. And that's why, for me, I'm actually back in the Cubs here, because I think a little bit of regression is due for Butto. He started off the season really strong for the Mets, going 3-0 in his first 3 starts, but we saw in his last 2 starts against the Cardinals, he gave up 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs in only 5 2/3 innings. And in his start before that against the Dodgers, another 2 earned runs in over a 4 1/3 innings. So for me, this is just a matchup where I think that Butto has started off the season strong for the Mets. And this is maybe one that you want to take a nerfy on, hint, hint, or over maybe the first 5 under as well. Imanaga has just not lost yet, and I think the Cubs here are just the better team, and offensively, they've been hitting right-handed pitching a lot better over the last month. So for me, I'm just going to go with the better offensive lineup here and the stronger pitcher, and I think Butto's bound for a little bit of regression, as we've seen that as he's been facing a little bit of better competition over the last few games, and that's caused him to regress a little bit, and I think the Cubs will be able to score a few runs off of him. So give me the Cubs on the money line here as our second best bet of the day. Now, for our third best bet of the day, we're headed to another matchup, and this one's another late night one, and it's going to go to the Red Sox here, and we're taking them on the money line against the Giants, minus 110 odds. Now, you might not be able to place this bet just yet on your book because the Giants have not yet decided who's going to start for them, so that's what gives me encouragement that it's going to be a bullpen game. Now, the Red Sox are setting Cutter Crawford to the mound here, and Cutter Crawford actually had a really rough start in his last matchup against the Chicago Cubs team that I just explained. We actually took the nerfy in that game, and Cutter Crawford actually gave up a run in the first inning, and he actually gave up 3 earned runs to go at 10 hits in 6 innings, which ended up being a 7-1 loss for the Red Sox in that matchup. Do I think Cutter Crawford can rebound in this matchup? I do, because the Giants have been struggling against right-handed pitching, and it also helps that they are going to a bullpen game, and their bullpen is the 4th worst in major leagues right now in terms of earned run average, so I'm not really encouraged by the fact that they're going to the bullpen game, changing pitchers a lot, and you're at a hitter-friendly ballpark like Fenway Park. I think the benefit does rely with the Red Sox here. If you want to isolate it just to the first 5 innings just for Cutter Crawford before you touch the bullpens, I'm not opposed to that either, but that line just has not come out just yet because the Giants have not announced a starter. I think Cutter Crawford is bound for a rebound game here, as we saw in his previous starts, 1 earned run against the Pirates. No earned runs given up against the Guardians or the Orioles or the Mariners. 3 really strong lineups there as well. So I think the form that Cutter Crawford's been in this year, 1.35 ERA, which is the second best in the American League, there's no reason why he should not be able to bounce back against a struggling Giants team. Give me the Red Sox on the money line as our third baseball best bet of the day. For my final best bet of the day, we're going to look at this NBA matchup between the Clippers and the Mavericks here. And this is just one that I'm really not sure who to take. I don't know if we should go with Harden's points, Kyrie's points. Is Luka going to rebound after struggling so much on the series? Paul George went crazy last game, but is he bound for some regression here in this game? I don't know. But one thing that's been pretty consistent right now in this series is that Harden's been hooping, Kyrie's been hooping. So because of that, I'm going to go with both of these guys, but not just taking their points. We're going with Harden and Kyrie to hit 3+ 3-pointers here. So both of them need to hit 3 3-pointers. If you parlay those together, that gets you to plus 102 odds. I really like that. James Harden has had a resurgence this series for the Clippers, and I love to see that. Harden's one of my favorite players. He's been disrespected year after year, and people are forgetting that this is one of the most bona fide proven scorers that the NBA has ever seen. So far in this series, we've seen him average 20 points per game, including going off for 33 points in the last game. And if you're looking at his three-point line, last game he went 4 of 5. In the game before that, 5 of 8. In the second game of the series, 2 for 10, but the volume was still there. And in the first game of the series, 6 of 11. He's gone over this three-point line pretty easily in 3 of the 4 games thus far in the series, and I don't see any reason why he should not be able to do the same thing again today, because Kawhi Leonard was ruled out again with the knee injury. The game that he went under was the game that Kawhi played. So for me, we know Kawhi means more volume for James Harden, means more shot attempts, and he has to be aggressive, especially Paul George, who's been a little bit inconsistent in this series, is struggling with his shot. Now, speaking about inconsistencies, that's what Luka Doncic has been for the Mavs, and that's one of the reasons why they've struggled thus far in the series. But shout out to Kyrie, because he's been absolutely carrying the Mavs on the offensive side. He's averaging 28 points per game on 49% shooting, not just from the field, but also from the three-point line. And that's why I have confidence in taking his three-point shot today, because he's gone over this total in every game thus far in the series. Starting in game 1, he went 3 of 6. Game 2, 4 of 8. Game 3, 3 of 7. And last game, 6 of 12 when he had that 40-point explosion for the Mavericks. Now, Luka is obviously going to have to step up here if the Mavs expect to win this game. So that's why I want to really watch it live, or see what maybe seeing what happens live to be able to snag that. But for me, I believe that the three-point shot is going to be the main thing that both of these offensive gurus in Harden and Kyrie is going to be able to exploit. And because of that, I think they both will be able to get the volume and be able to get the shots. If you want to take both of their points angles, I'm not opposed to that. Kyrie's already been bumped about 25.5, 26.5 on most books. So it is a little juice now at this point. And James Harden settled around like 21, 22. I'm not opposed to that either. But I think that the three-point shot is the better look, just in case they're struggling from the field, not getting to the free throw line. They are going to get the volume from the three-point line, as that's what both of these teams are looking to be able to do. And I think that should be able to exploit that angle today as our fourth and final best bet of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 4 best bets that I've given you guys on this Wednesday slate. 3 in the major leagues. Give me the Red Sox on the money line. Give me the Cubs on the money line. And then let's go with a little 2-team player prop parlay here with James Harden to hit 3 3-pointers and Kyrie Irving to do the same to get us to plus value. For more picks and plays that I'm dropping throughout the day, my Nerfy of the day, I'll drop that on Twitter. Make sure you click the link in the description. Join the free Discord group, as I'll have a few more baseball plays. I already have a few that I'm going to drop right now for you guys, so I'm excited for those plays, because we do have an early day of baseball winners, so make sure we do that as well. And I might have something in the NBA. I'm looking right now, I'm looking at like the Clippers team total a little bit, maybe something live inside that Mavs-Clippers game, and then maybe also something in that Heat-Celtics game, just depending on how those teams come out and score in that one. Well, let's have a day, my friends. I appreciate all the love and support. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's get to that cheddar, and as always, dictate your fate, and let's continue to cash in on those bets, and let's start a hot streak in this month of May. Let's get after it, baby.